Hi, everybody. Welcome to After the Nudge. I'm Soledad O'Brien.
And I'm J.R. Smith.
So on this podcast, we chat with some of the nation's most outstanding grassroots community organizations.
We also give out a micro grant of $10,000.
Like, it's a nudge, which is pretty cool. Today, we are chatting with Tori Cole from Victory Village Corp. Now, Victory Village empowers underserved and unserved communities through immersive programming and workforce training.
Welcome, Tori. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for
So
having
nice to
me.
have you. Real pleasure. So you really began in corporate America, and then you kind of transitioned to being an entrepreneur.
Yes.
I'm curious about how all of that kind of positioned you for what you're doing with Victory Village today. Give us a little history.
Absolutely. Well, I started off in corporate America, as you mentioned, as a computer engineer. And I really loved what I did, so much so that I created my own business out of it. And I've created and founded multiple startups, tech startups. And so I transitioned out of industry because I felt a need to have our own spaces and own. And so what I did was take that experience and knowledge and translate it and transform it into what Victory Village is now, and multiple startups are now. So that has really set a foundation for what we do here at Victory Village and training young people to do just as I did.
A lot of business people get, kind of caught up in their dreams and their goals and their successes. How did you, stay focused in Houston and stay locked in and gravitate toward the community?
Absolutely. So I've traveled all over with business and consulting and technology startups. And so once I moved back to Houston, which is my home state, I saw that the Harris County community and the different cities and school districts within Harris County were not really focused on STEM education and workforce training. And so I created and started Victory Village and Code Excel program from filling in that gap and need for that workforce training.
Was there a specific thing or a young person or a gap that you said, you know what, I can do this?
Absolutely, absolutely. So in my past experience with national organizations such as National Society of Black Engineers, we hosted pre-college initiative programs. And during that, I saw that there was a tremendous need in the community for STEM and future skills training.
How impactful are companies like Toyota to a corporation like yourself to give back, and do you see the impact in the community? Do you see the impact within the business, being a businesswoman who's running such a impactful corporation?
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me tell you, this nudge grant has been instrumental to Victory Village and our programming. Without this grant, we couldn't do a lot of what we're doing in the community through our Code Excel programming and training. We actually started on a 40-foot metro bus, and we converted it into a mobile learning center, and we would travel around to the different schools within Harris County. And now we are actually in the classrooms of one of the largest districts. It's actually my home school district, Galena Park ISD, and we are in the classrooms teaching and training students. And so without Toyota and this nudge grant, we would not be here.
Victory Village is such a positive, forward-looking name, and lots of
Yes.
nonprofits are kind of frequently named out of all the things people lack,
Yes.
right? Like it's a list of terrible things versus, I mean, I just love the name. Tell me the thought process. How did you get to that name?
Absolutely.
Really framing the assets, I think, of the young people
Yes.
versus here's a list of what you don't have and what you're coming into the world with.
Absolutely. Well, I grew up in a community very similar to the communities that we served. Oftentimes they're underserved, and they host a series of problems. And what we do is choose to focus away from the problems and focus on the victory. And so that's exactly what Victory Village is all about, bringing victory to the village. How do we do that? Well, we train and develop young people, middle school and high school students to develop the skill sets and train and help to take that training back to their peers. And not only the peers, but also to their parents, their communities, their churches, other nonprofit organizations, to where it's creating a village centered around victory.
Love that. I love that.
Yes.
How can more people? Because obviously we're giving you a nudge, and
Yes.
viewership is gonna want to help and give you a nudge. So
Who's giving you the shove?
right, who's giving the shove? How do they reach you
Absolutely.
and donate?
Yes, absolutely. Well, we have our own website. It's www.vvcorp.org. But also, we are on every social media platform you can think of. You just look up Victory Village HTX and you will find us. And also, you'll find us on YouTube because we are live filming our training sessions. And so you're going through and you're seeing our Code Excel students actually doing the work and training and building computers from scratch. And we're just giving them the materials and they're building those technologies from scratch. And so you'll actually see them learning in that learning process and even going through, and we encourage other students to learn virtually as well. And so we not only have it to where they're on site, but also students that cannot get on site or in one of our classes, they can take from our YouTube channel to be able to learn those technologies and how to build and develop those coding, those codes and computer science technologies as well.
There's a ridiculously small number of black engineers and a smaller number of black female
Absolutely.
engineers, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
my sister is a black female engineer, and then there's
Yay.
some more, but not very many.
Yes.
How do you get over the psychological, if you will, obstacle of, if you don't see a lot of black engineers, if your dad or your mom wasn't a black engineer,
Yes.
what would make you think, I could be an engineer? How do you deal with
Absolutely.
that part?
Absolutely. I had to overcome that fear myself. Thankfully, I had two parents that were professionals in the oil and gas industry down in Houston. But so many of our students do not have that representation in front of them. This is what Victory Village is all about, to take that fear out of STEM learning and learning how to succeed as both an engineer and a professional. And we train our students starting in middle school how to do just that. And so with Victory Village, we not only train you outward with your outward skills, but we train you inward and develop that know-how, that drive to where you understand this is how we become engineers. This is how we succeed professionally as a black engineer, and take that drive throughout your career.
Let me ask it the right way. How do if I'm a parent, I have a daughter in Houston.
Yes.
And just listening to you and seeing the way you're lighting up is like, I want to send my daughter there. Like for parents who are like me or who some are on the fence, what would you tell them to convince them that like this is the right move for your child?
Absolutely. Just check us out online, and not only us, There are so many organizations. I would encourage them to get with their school counselor on dual degree programs to where they're actually teaching and they can earn their associate's degree while they're still in high school in computer science and engineering. And so that takes the sting out of, oh, I have to ramp up my skill sets after high school versus you can start now, start in elementary school, start as soon as possible in developing your child's love for STEM. And that's what I would encourage each and every parent to do.
And you raise a good point because, of course, debt that comes about from college,
Absolutely.
especially in the Black community, is very, very high and only rising. And it seems like you're really focused on you can leave high school and not just have a job, like you can have a career, a really high-paying career.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what we encourage each of our Code Excel students to follow in that path of the dual degree path to where you're actually leaving high school with an associate's degree. And if you choose to continue through to your college degree, then that's great. But a lot of our students do not. They choose to go out into entrepreneurship. We encourage them, of course, to finish college. But if you want to become an entrepreneur right there after high school, after you receive your high school diploma, you have that option to do so.
That's awesome. North Carolina A&T produces
Yes.
a lot of
Yes.
young Black engineers, so
Absolutely.
we could be a pipeline for y'all. Just, you know, we could set something
Absolutely.
up. That'd
I
be
have a
work.
lot of friends that graduated from NCA&T.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you know that, Tori, I think I'm right about this, you're a cancer survivor.
I am.
So I'm curious how having something that must be very scary and
It
very
is.
overwhelming
It was.
led you to want to really invest in your community and think about like what your legacy is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up, Soledad. Because Victory Village is a ministry for me. It's a way for me to positively leave a legacy and give back to my community. As you can understand, whenever you go through a life-threatening situation, you start to really bring into focus what type of legacy you're going to leave behind. And I believe that Victory Village is my way of bringing into fold that legacy and that ministry and just giving back to the community. And so I love what I do. If you can't see it all over my face, it just comes through. And I'm just excited of what's the future of Victory Village.
That's great.
Who's the typical young person? I was going to say kid, but I know they're not all kids that you serve at Victory Village. Is there a typical?
There is no typical. We welcome everyone. We have homeschooled students that parents are so excited that we're bringing this type of programming and training to their students. And we have all the way up to AP honor students. To where they're excited to be challenged by our different projects. And each one of our students' eyes light up when we start talking about what is possible in the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math arena. And so we can meet each and every child where they are. And so we do not exclude any child from this program. As long as they're a 7th through 12th grader, we welcome them all.
That's what I wanted to ask you. How good does it feel to have such a huge impact in your specific home community, the school district you actually went through? Because like for me, like a lot of people, we go on to have success and you can go different cities and all that, but like coming home and being able to have that Stapleton at home, what does that mean to you?
It's everything. It's everything to me. I graduated from North Shore Senior High School, and we are My parents' home backs up to one of the streets that has the most crime in the area, and we still own the home. And I just believe that this program, this Code Excel program, our organization, as well as our partnerships with the churches, the other nonprofits, the school districts in the area, that will help to uplift not only my community, but the communities throughout Southeast Texas and even the state. And then we're looking at national expansion moving forward.
You got the nudge
Yes.
because you were selected. You're nominated online, then voted on online,
Yes.
and you won.
Yes.
I mean, that's an indication of a real impact across a lot of folks. What does that feel like?
It is tremendously humbling, and I am very appreciative of all of our supporters. More importantly, our Toyota supporter, and just this nudge grant it has been a tremendous help, and all of the support that our community has given us throughout these years has just been tremendous. We would not be here without it. We would not be here without the support of our parents, of the students, in getting their child to what we started off on the bus, getting them to the bus each and every Saturday. That takes dedication. A lot of our students are athletes, and so they go to practice and then they come and get on our bus and they put, their athleticism aside, and they focus on our STEM education, and sometimes we allow them to bring in their athleticism and what they know about sports into our STEM education, and we develop, for example, sports games.
I was going to ask,
Yes.
right? I would think gaming is very big right now.
Exactly. And they not only know how to play the sports games and the video games, but they know how to develop the video games. Yeah. And it's actually helped them throughout their sports career, in that now they know the different sides of physics and how to go about using that knowledge to improve their game. So it's really helping them all the way around, and we are just excited to have them to where they're learning and they are trained on getting things done performance-wise.
Within all of this, like, obviously we know how important education is in teaching our youth, but how important is that message of continuously getting them to feel self-motivated, continuously empowering them to where they want to do it on their own, not somebody dragging them? How does that feel?
Absolutely. We do it by two different ways. First of all, affirmations. Every time they come to us, we affirm them. We tell them they can do it. We take the fear out of what you can't do, and we tell them what they can do, and then we show them how to do it. And that's basically the recipe for success. And that's how I've operated throughout my successes in life. Is, first of all, I've been affirmed by those who have been mentors in my community, and supporters within my community, and also how they've showed me how to do it, and how to be successful. And that's what we do at Victory Village.
How long has Victory Village been around? 2017 is your launch,
2017,
right?
yes.
What have been the biggest lessons that you learned from that first day when you launched in a bus on the street to today?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say resilience, how to keep going when you're just starting off, And I've pulled in, my experience as a startup entrepreneur, how to keep going when you don't necessarily have the name or the brand or the support right then and there. How to be resilient as a Black woman engineer. You have to understand how to be resilient in all that you do in order to reach a certain level of success. And so that's what I've pulled all into Victory Village, and not only myself and my development as a leader, but also I've trained these students, our Code Excel students, how to do the same.
Where do you want to go? What are your goals? How many more nudges do you need? Just seeding that if anybody wants to send you some
Yes,
checks.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, bring all the nudges possible. But our growth expansion plan is to, first of all, get outside of now that we're in the classroom, get outside of the classroom, get our students outside and actually into these corporate sponsors on location as apprentices and in internships. And actually learning it on the job training. So they've been trained in the classroom. They know how to develop the code. They know how to do the engineering and the construction in. Now we're actually looking for our corporate sponsors to host our students for on-the-job training. And also expanding our reach as far as virtually, making sure that our systems are up and running with up-to-date virtual feeds so that we can provide more to students that are outside of the Harris County area.
I'm really curious about why it matters.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a obviously rhetorical question, but why does it matter to invest in young students of color? Why does it matter to make sure they're learning STEM when the entire world is now going digital fully?
Absolutely.
And if they don't have those skills now, they're going to be even further behind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I definitely believe that if you expand your mind, you expand your potential, and you expand your community, and you can bring those resources back to your community to uplift it. And that's why we do what we do at Victory Village, is basically in order for them to go out and expand their territory, expand their horizon, they must first be trained on how to do that. And we do that. And more so, in uplifting the students, we uplift the parents, we uplift generations, we uplift those that come after all of us. And bringing that to the forefront. And so these students must be trained on the skills of the future in order to, first of all, go out, have new experiences, and bring those experiences back and help train and reach others behind them. And that's exactly the path that we're setting forth for them at Victory Village. That's what I'm doing. And I tell each one of my students, if you want to pay me back, you take this skill set and not only train and develop yourself, but you reach back like I'm doing, and you set forth that legacy, that Victory Village legacy of reaching back and training others to do the same.
Tori, your story is incredible. The work that you're doing is so impressive, and I love the legacy that you're sowing, not just your legacy, obviously, but for your entire community. It's really, really great. We're so proud of you.
I'm very proud and appreciate having you, for one, to listen to your stories. It's really amazing. You're doing tremendous work, and please keep it up.
Yeah, love it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And a big thanks to all of you for joining us for the After the Nudge podcast. And until next time, never underestimate the power of a little nudge.